All right, I'm here with Kaitlyn Laorno, former skier racer for Millbrook Prep High School, and she's a current student at Fordham University. Kaitlyn, I appreciate you coming on here and being open about sharing a little bit about your story. So I guess my first question for you is during your athletic journey, tell me a little bit about kind of where you grew up, I guess, and then maybe what other schools you attended before Millbrook and Fordham, and then maybe any other sports extracurriculars you did, or grew up doing.
Yeah, so I actually ski raced for a mountain called Catamount. It was like a club team, I guess. And then in high school I did at Millbrook, I did volleyball, squash, and skiing in the winter and lacrosse. Um and then the same thing in middle school, just volleyball. I think I played tennis in middle school, but switched to squash in high school.
Yeah. Wow, that's that's a lot. Okay. And that
Yeah.
was all kind of in, I guess, were those all different seasons? I'm assuming like one was each.
Yeah, like volleyball in the fall, squash and skiing in the winter, and then lacrosse in the spring.
Cool. And how was like managing that? Was that a little complicated at times, especially with schoolwork? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Millbrook Prep, but it seems like it would be more of an academically more demanding school. I just maybe how did you manage all that?
It was definitely a lot, but it helped. So at Millbrook, you are required to do some sort of extracurricular after class, whether it be like theater or like volunteering at like the zoo on campus or like the farm, or you could do a sport. So it wasn't that bad managing volleyball and lacrosse because they were like allocated time. And then like obviously you're living at school. So every night from 8 to 10, you get 2 hours. Like the Wi-Fi goes off, you can't go on your phone, you're only doing homework. But in the winter, because I had skiing outside of Millbrook, it was definitely a lot harder. Like I wasn't really staying at school as much. I was commuting by myself back and forth. Definitely had a lot less time to do work. I have to do it like in between classes or like the day of. It was definitely a lot harder um without the school like giving me the time to do my work.
And with all that kind of running around, and although you had the time slots to do each thing, did you feel like it was hard to kind of just like breathe at times? Like just kind of take a step back and feel like, it's feel like you're always kind of going and you couldn't really take a second?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely in the winter. I felt like I wasn't really around like my friends that much. I felt like I was just constantly either I was still playing squash after school and then I would leave squash practice and go and ski for like 3 or 4 hours every night. And it was like a 45-minute drive. So I was like never around my friends. Like I felt like I was constantly like moving, moving, moving. My senior year I didn't even ski race because I just couldn't do it with college apps and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot, like definitely really extra stress.
Was it always, were you always finding fun in it, or was it like a lot of times like, wishing maybe you didn't do squash at times, or maybe sometimes, you kind of lost sight of the fun in skiing?
It was definitely more fun freshman, sophomore year. Definitely then, because like, freshman, sophomore year, like you don't have that much work and it's kind of like
Absolutely.
super relaxed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's responsibility.
But junior year, I found myself like dreading driving to practice and having to drive all the way back to school and then doing my homework at like midnight and like definitely as I got more work and like college stuff started popping up, yeah, it definitely got less enjoyable.
Got it. And during that time, did you feel like you had a support system? And if so, did you reach out to like parents, friends, family? Did your school have something?
Not really my school, I guess mostly my friends, like they knew that it was like a lot for me. And I think just like having people like my parents would check on me and like my friends would text me like, hey, like haven't seen you in a while, like how's skiing going? Like just people that would like acknowledge like
Right.
how much I'm doing and like, yeah, it's a sport and like I'm choosing to do it, but it's also like you're committing yourself to it. And like I had been skiing for so long that I felt like kind of an expectation, like I just had to keep doing it. So like having my parents like supporting that and just like making sure I could do all my work. Like I had a math tutor for a bit because I was falling a little bit behind. My coaches could have been a support system, but I didn't feel like I didn't want to reach out to them and be like, hey, by the way, like definitely sinking more this year. Like, but mostly just my friends and my parents that were definitely like
Awesome.
holding me
Yeah.
together for the
Yeah.
last 2 years.
And you said your school didn't have anything like that. Do you wish they kind of did? Do you wish, they had kind of some type of system or someone you could have reached out to, felt comfortable reaching out to, kind of like a guidance kind of department, maybe like a therapy area?
Yeah, I definitely wish that like Millbrook had provided some sort of like sports I don't know, like a therapist, maybe more of like a community or like
Yeah,
maybe some
absolutely.
sort of lenience
Yeah.
towards people who are, especially for schools that really encourage people to like be involved in sports. Like Millbrook is a huge sports school. Like they're really pushing you to do sports. So I feel like a school like that should have like some sort of community that can like maybe you get extra time to do certain homework assignments
Yeah,
or like
yeah.
certain excused like absences or whatever. Like if you're really, I don't know, like I feel like schools that are definitely pushing sports like that should have some sort of like sports therapy or community that can like help
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah. Oftentimes I think schools can lose sight of, the amount of
Yeah.
stress, that you guys are going through, especially it seems like your school was almost, yeah, to force you to have a schedule, force you to be doing something all the time. And in an
Yeah.
environment like that, I'm surprised you didn't have anything that kind of was
Yeah.
keep you in check mentally. So that kind of,
Especially like you don't want to be talking to your coaches because it's like they're your coach. So
yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like you need to have someone that's
Mhm.
not associated with your sport and
Absolutely.
doesn't know you as like a teammate. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Well, transitioning more to a little bit, later, I had the opportunity to speak with you previously, so I kind of know the answer to this question, and I would hopefully you're comfortable kind of talking about your kind of struggle with your injury and how significant that was, and maybe you can just touch upon a few points about when you got injured and kind of how that kind of affected you mentally and kind of what you did to cope and help with where you are today because you ended up at Fordham, a really great school, and how did you get there today with being injured?
Yeah. So junior year, it was the last race of the season. It was like you had to qualify to be in this race, like a super big deal. And it's my first run because you get 2 runs. And going down and I had a really bad crash. I
Yeah.
didn't think anything was wrong until I like tried to ski after and realized that like my arm just like really couldn't move. And I cracked my like shoulder blade, like basically there was just like a crack like right down the middle. And definitely it was the first like major fall I had actually had. Like my brother tore both his ACL skiing, but like I had never really been like, oh wow, it's dangerous. But then after that, I definitely like it kind of like dawned on me like, wow, this really isn't as like secure as I thought so. And I think senior year when I like officially quit skiing, it was because of college apps, but it definitely um like it was less of a loss to me to quit skiing because I had this sort of like not fear, but more like I guess I was just more timid. I wasn't as confident in racing. And that definitely made it more okay for me to quit. Which sucks because like I was pretty good at skiing. Like I was really into it. Like
Absolutely.
it was my thing.
Absolutely.
And I think if I didn't get injured, I definitely would have tried harder to balance skiing
Mhm.
and like senior year. Um, it didn't really affect me too much mentally because it was the last race. Like if it had happened in the middle of this of the year when I was doing really well and like then I couldn't race anymore, I think that would definitely be like that would be horrible. Like my brother tore his ACL in the first practice of the ski season and then had to watch everyone else do it. And like that would he was definitely like that had a toll on him and like that definitely would have had the same I would have had the same reaction, but it was for the best that it was the last race. Um yeah, that's
Okay. And then listen, that's not easy, easy. That really sucks. And like you said, it seems like that was a big part of your life, your whole life, and just kind of, that was kind of it. That sucks, but I think, you still obviously ski for fun, and you love skiing, and that's great. But I'm just wondering if there was something you could have, told yourself, when that happened or during that time of that struggle and as you're kind of, recovering from your injury, is there something you wish you could have told yourself, in that moment or kept telling yourself, that maybe could have helped you out or kept you a little more confident to, I don't know, make it easier recovering from that?
Yeah, I definitely think that I should have like pushed myself a little bit harder going into the next ski season. Like I kind of just went to a couple practices and was like, like it's kind of fresh in my mind. Like I don't even want to ski like giant slalom, which is what I fell on. And it was just like it's so fresh in my mind that but I'm not like I definitely could have pushed through it and kept skiing. And I guess I didn't realize like now I'm realizing that I'm probably never gonna race again.
Right.
So, but I didn't realize that like when I fell in my mind, I was like, oh, always just keep racing. But I definitely wish I had like pushed myself a little bit more to just tough it out for that season, even if it was like I wasn't having great runs or my times weren't amazing. Like skiing is like I enjoy skiing and it's like and racing, even if I'm not doing well. I mean, obviously it's better if I'm doing well, but like
Yeah, listen, you're competitive. I
just
understand. Yeah,
yeah.
just the
But
sport.
like just the sport alone is like familiar to me. Like I love it. So I definitely wish I had like pushed myself more. And it's not the end of the world. Like looking back now, it was so not a big deal. And it
Absolutely.
shouldn't have been like in my head as much as
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah,
was.
for sure.
But yeah,
That's a result of not having that support system, at your school. And I think if you had
yeah,
something like that, you'd be, when that next season rolled around, if you were working on yourself, you developed awareness, you'd be less, less kind of shying away from it, and you would have just had more fun that season. So,
yeah,
that's what, we're trying to do with this kind of organization that I'm trying to start is really put it out there that,
yeah.
mental health is really real, regardless of the sport or who it is. And, having a support system is really key. Uh,
Mhm.
so
Especially like having it not be like my parents were obviously there and they were like, oh, like, do whatever you feel comfortable with. Like, if you don't want to ski, it's fine. But it's like you need someone that, like, I wish I had someone that was kind of not my family member or like a really close friend that was more worried about my safety. I wish it was someone that was like, like it was just a fall. Like, yeah, you did break a bone, but like, whatever, like, just
I
keep
mean, it's
trying.
not to dismiss that it's a serious injury, and what you went through is
Yeah,
it's more just I'm sure your mind went through so many things during that time that you kept to yourself, and that is something that's not
yeah,
really healthy. You really need to be talking to someone that you feel comfortable with. So I think what you said about having someone outside your family is very well said, and that's exactly it. So yeah. I guess we can fast forward more to today. You're at a you're at a really good school, and you're what are you majoring in again? Sorry.
political science and Spanish.
Political science and Spanish. So that's a
Yeah,
pretty, demanding, major, and things that you do. I know you do like flag football and some other things. So I was wondering, what you do to currently manage your time, and if there's anything that helps you deal with maybe stress or workload. Like, do you listen to music? Do you like take breaks? Do you breathe? Do you talk to family members, friends? Kind of what helps you stay on track? What's your recipe for success, I guess?
yeah, definitely. Like listening to music all the time. I always have my AirPods in. And like working out, but not just like working out, like stressing myself out with like what exercises I'm doing and like what I'm hitting, like going on the treadmill and just walking and like watching TV on the treadmill or like so then you don't feel like because I'm an avid TV watcher, like I definitely relax watching TV. But
Hmm.
then like you're sitting in bed and you're like, wow, I have so much work to do. So like I feel like a way that really makes me feel like I'm being productive and like relaxes me is to be like on the treadmill and watching my TV show and like
Yeah.
yeah. But definitely music, definitely watching TV and like taking naps. Like, yeah, I think just honestly just doing nothing, like giving yourself time to just do nothing and relax. After like I've always been so active and like now being in college and I'm not like being forced to play sports. I'm like on the intramural flag football team, whatever. Like
Mhm.
it's it's nice to just be able to like give myself time to relax.
Exactly. Is there a specific artist or playlist you like to use for relaxing to get yourself kind of more grounded and maybe a little more, it can really be whatever. It doesn't have to be, necessarily calming music, whatever helps you.
Yeah. I don't think I have like a specific artist. I definitely have a playlist that I'll like reach for, and it's kind of like more like chill rap. Or I'll watch like my comfort TV shows like The Office or like Modern Family, like
Cool.
just things that I can just turn my brain off.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's, yeah, thank you so much for kind of being open. I guess to wrap it up, my last question would just be, what would you be able to kind of, if you could, tell yourself when you were kind of younger? I'm talking like before high school, maybe when you were a kid, maybe middle school, elementary school, that you think could help you today, maybe be more confident, or maybe could have helped your journey through sports and academics, a little easier.
Yeah, I think definitely like trusting your coaches more. That was a big thing for me. I just felt like my coach was like a superior figure, and it's like they're not really. Like, I mean, they are, but it's like trusting your coach and being able to like talk to your coaches about like if you're stressed about work and things like that, because that can definitely like that would have made a difference in high school for me. I think if I talked to my coaches, like they could have talked in school and like helped me out a little bit with like stress with deadlines and things like that. Um, and definitely just like just calming down a bit. Like it's not being so competitive. I think I put a lot of pressure on myself to like even in like JV sports, like when I played JV squash, it was like I have to win and like then it just made it really stressful and I was enjoying myself in practices, but games I was like I need to win. Like if I don't win, it's all a waste. But it's like JV squash, like just have fun and like chill out.
Absolutely.
Definitely just tell myself to chill out.
Definitely. Love that. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Kaitlyn, for your time. I really appreciate you being open, being vulnerable, and this was really great. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.